Tim Spaeth, your Ocean Township High School Ed Tech. I recently did a video about organizing your Gmail. Now I'd like to talk a little bit about Google Drive and maybe some features and ways to organize that might help people who have all of their files just hanging out in My Drive. So the first thing I'd like to point out is the different choices on the left as to how to view your drive. Priority is a relatively new one, and it will highlight some newer things that you've been working on, kind of like most recent in My Drive. There also is a new feature called Workspaces, which I'm not going to get into too much here, but you could add files to a workspace that you can then share out to people if you're working on a specific project. My Drive is where you're probably going to do much of your sorting, organizing, etc., where you can find all of your files and folders. Shared with me is going to be anything that's been shared with you. Okay, here you see some recent things, and then you could go back and scroll throughout your history. Recent will be what you've opened up or modified most recently. So that might be helpful if you just viewed something and you don't know where to find it. Recent could be helpful. Starred is anything that you might have starred. And then obviously trash is things that you've gotten rid of. All right, so I want to talk mostly about My Drive because that's where you're going to, as I said, find most of your things, and also where you're going to do your organizing. So a few features right off the bat. Yours might look different than this, and if it is, it could be the difference between list view and grid view. So list view has them listed like this, okay? And this is another one of those things where it's just a matter of preference, what you like to look at, what's going to help you better in the future. I personally prefer grid view because I like everything laid out like this. This is how you are sorting whatever's in your drive. I would suggest, and again, this is personal preference, but I would suggest by name, because in that case, all of the folders are always going to be in the same order. So then navigating to a specific folder will be a little bit easier. Okay, so this alphabetizes them. The only one out of alphabetical order is this one because it has an emoji to start. But it alphabetizes them, so everything's going to be in the same spot every time I look at this. If you go to settings, there's also an option for suggested files. Okay, this will have these most recently used files up top. Okay, so the ones that have been edited in the past however many days or weeks or whatever. Okay, so you could toggle that on and off. So suggested appears right here. It's the four, I think it's usually four most recently used, opened, edited, whatever files that you've looked at. So that's in settings. Okay, you could also show suggested files and shared with me. That's an option. You could turn that off. You could turn it on. Okay, so that'll be the four up top and shared with me that have been opened or edited. Color coding folders can be very helpful. It could help you navigate a little bit quicker to more important folders, let's say. And the way to do that would be to right click and then just change color. Okay, of course, you could also rename the folders as you please to make it helpful to file things away. You could also view folders by clicking this little drop down here and having them all laid out on the left. Okay, some advantages too of this might be if you have a lot of loose files, which I would say would be a main point of this, would be to clear it out and organize into folders. You could simply drag and drop up top to the folders, or let's say you're going down and you have a long list and you just have files visible, you could just drag and drop over to the left rather than having to scroll up to these folders over here. So that might be helpful if you have a lot of loose files and you want to easily sort. You could scroll way down and then just start moving things over here as you see fit. Folders can go into one another, so you can put a folder into another folder and have, for instance, a long kind of list of folders inside of a folder. That is helpful if you have a bigger category, let's say. And then from there on out, it's a matter of simply moving things, which of course you could do by right clicking move to, and then choose where you'd like the file to go, what folder. Okay, you could also select multiple folders by either highlighting them with your mouse, or you could hit Control and toggle on multiple files by holding Control. So holding Control, I could choose more than one, however many I want, and then now I could move those 2 files wherever I'd like. Okay, same thing with folders. Okay, if I get all 5 of those, or let's say I don't want that one, I hit Control. Now I could take these 4 things and move them into whatever other folder I want, or move them somewhere else. So I hope that was helpful. It really is about creating a structure of folders that are going to be easy for you to navigate and make sense. And then from there on out, you're just going to move things into the appropriate folder. Happy sorting, everybody.